The Switch 2 has a good lineup so far, and if you're trying to figure out where to spend your money, you're in the right place. These are the 15 best games on the platform right now. No filler, just the real ones worth your time. Let's get into it. Dragon Quest VII has been around forever. Originally a PlayStation game back in 2000, then a 3DS remake in 2016, and now it's back again with a full facelift called Reimagined. The visual overhaul alone is worth talking about. It's got this gorgeous diorama art style, where everything looks like tiny, handcrafted miniatures, brought to life with Akira Toriyama's iconic character designs. The story puts you in the shoes of a fisherman's kid living on a small island who genuinely believes there's more to the world than what he can see. He's right. You and your friends stumble onto a shrine of mysteries and get dragged back in time, where you discover that whole civilizations have been sealed away by a dark force. The gameplay is structured around these self-contained vignettes. You travel to different eras, solve each island's crisis, and slowly restore the world. This one's been a long time coming. Final Fantasy Tactics originally dropped in 1997 and became one of the most beloved tactical RPGs ever made. The Ivalice Chronicles is the enhanced re-release that finally brings it to modern platforms, including Switch 2, with fully voiced dialogue, reworked visuals, an overhauled UI, and a brand new difficulty setting called Squire that makes the game actually approachable for newcomers. The story drops you into a medieval kingdom called Ivalice, torn apart by political intrigue, betrayal, and war. You follow a young noble named Remza Bulve, whose version of events history chose to bury. Combat takes place on 3D grid-based battlefields where positioning, terrain, and turn order matter just as much as raw stats. The job system is the backbone of the whole thing. Over 20 jobs to unlock and master, from classic white and black mages to dragoons and samurai, with abilities that carry over even after you switch jobs. Octopath Traveler 0 pushes that even further with higher texture resolution and better particle effects. It's the best the style has ever looked. Story-wise, this is a prequel set in the same world of Orstera, and for the first time in the series, you create your own protagonist. Your hometown of Wishvale is burned to the ground by villains hunting powerful divine rings, and the whole journey is about restoration and revenge. Instead of 8 fixed characters, this game gives you over 30 recruitable party members you build a team of 8 from, each with their own job, skills, and passive abilities. The classic break and boost battle system returns. You identify enemy weaknesses, stack breakpoints, then spend boost points on powered-up actions. Dungeons now have multi-level layouts and environmental puzzles, making exploration feel more meaningful. The big fix from the earlier games is that the stories are now more interconnected. Characters cross paths with real purpose, events echo across regions, and villains show up across different storylines.
Now or never.
This is our chance! Time to strike!
Pokopia is something genuinely new for the Pokemon franchise, and it landed way better than most people expected. You play as a Ditto who woke up from a long sleep to find the world emptied of humans and Pokemon alike. Only a lonely Tangrowth is left. Using your transformation abilities, you take on a human-like form and start rebuilding the land from scratch. It's part life sim, part sandbox builder, think Animal Crossing meets Minecraft, with Pokemon wrapped around all of it. You gather materials like wood, rock, and berries to craft furniture, tools, and homes. You till fields, grow crops, and as your land improves, different Pokemon begin arriving to live there. Each Pokemon you befriend can teach your Ditto their moves, which you then use as actual tools in the world. Bulbasaur's leafage to grow plants, Squirtle's water gun to irrigate fields. That loop of attracting, befriending, and learning from Pokemon is genuinely satisfying and keeps things moving. Trails in the Sky is the easiest entry point the franchise has ever offered. Built from the ground up in 3D, the Liberal Kingdom is now a fully realized world with detailed environments and redesigned characters. You follow Estelle and Joshua Bright, 2 young bracers, essentially licensed adventurers, who take off on a journey across the kingdom after their father mysteriously disappears. The combat blends field action and turn-based mechanics seamlessly, and each character's special craft abilities and elemental art spells get animated showcases that make battles feel exciting even into the late game. The story is character first, Slow burn, dense with dialogue, and built on genuine relationships rather than world-ending spectacle. Side quests actually matter here and feed into the kingdom's lore. Difficulty ranges from casual to a punishing nightmare mode for series veterans. A high-speed mode helps cut down on grinding. Blueprints. You've inherited a 45-room mansion called Mount Holly, and somewhere in that house is a rumored 46th room nobody has ever found. The problem? Every day, the floor plan reshuffles. Each run, you draft new rooms from randomized card draws to build your path through the mansion, managing a limited step count while navigating puzzles, locked doors, and strange obstacles. It's a first-person puzzle game with roguelite mechanics, and the combination works brilliantly. There are no NPCs to guide you. The story unfolds entirely through scattered notes and fragments you piece together across multiple runs, slowly revealing the mansion's history and the forces shaping its behavior. Finding that 46th room is just the beginning. The game is packed with deeper mysteries, hidden mechanics, and secrets that reward players who pay close attention and take notes. Real notes, pen and paper. Permanent upgrades accumulate between runs, and every failure teaches you something new about how the house actually works. Pragmata is Capcom's brand new IP, and it's been in development for what feels like forever. But it came out in April 2026, and it was worth the wait. You play as Hugh Williams, a systems engineer stranded inside a lunar research station that's been taken over by a hostile AI called IDUS. His only companion is Diana, an android built to look like a 6-year-old girl, and together, they're trying to escape and get back to Earth. The relationship between Hugh and Diana drives the whole game, and it hits surprisingly emotional notes in between the action. Combat is third-person shooting built on Capcom's RE engine, so it's tight and responsive. Hugh can jump, hover, and dodge using thrusters, overheat enemies for critical damage, and perform finishers when his upgrades unlock them. Diana isn't just narrative flavor. You use her systems to hack enemies, open pathways, and manipulate hostile machines throughout the station. Weapons can degrade and break, adding a resource management layer to encounters.
Depending on the nodes you pass through, you can modify the damage and effects of a hack. Each split-second decision can change.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is set in 1937, slotted between Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, and it plays and feels exactly like an Indiana Jones adventure should. The story starts with a break-in at Marshall College and quickly spirals into a globe-trotting conspiracy involving a geographical phenomenon called the Great Circle, and yes, the Nazis want it. You play in first person as Indy, armed with his whip and pistol, improvising through every situation. Fistfights where you grab whatever's nearby. Disguises to sneak past guards, though higher-ranking enemies can see through them. Environmental puzzles that drive the story forward. The whip isn't just a weapon. It's a traversal tool for crossing gaps and scaling walls, and the Switch 2's motion controls make using it genuinely fun. Exploration is layered and detailed, with optional side quests hiding some of the game's best moments. CD Projekt Red launched Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition on Switch 2 at launch in June 2025 with the complete game, all patches, the Phantom Liberty expansion included, running in handheld mode in a way that shouldn't be possible. The game drops you into Night City, a neon-drenched corporate dystopia, as V, a mercenary who ends up with a dying legend's consciousness slowly overwriting their own brain. The story is built around incredible characters more than its main plot, and the real gems are the side quests and character storylines that branch off the main path. Combat lets you play as a run-and-gun fighter, stealth operative, melee brawler, or netrunner hacker, or blend all of them together through deep RPG skill trees. The Switch 2 version adds gyro aiming, which works surprisingly well for fine adjustments during gunplay, and the performance in both docked and handheld is genuinely solid for a game of this scale.
What now?
Nothing. The scan is...
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Players control Cloud and his companions as they travel across a vast world filled with towns, side activities, secrets, and dangerous enemies while continuing their journey against the powerful Shinra Corporation and the mysterious Sephiroth. Combat combines real-time swordplay, dodging, blocking, magic spells, and powerful abilities that can be chained together through the game's strategic party system. Each character has a unique fighting style, encouraging players to switch between teammates and experiment with different tactics. On Switch 2, the game targets 30 FPS and uses dynamic resolution with DLSS upscaling, generally maintaining stable performance during both exploration and battles. While visual settings are reduced compared to PS5, and occasional dips can occur in demanding open-world areas, the game remains impressive on Nintendo's hardware, offering a massive RPG experience that feels right at home, both docked and in handheld mode. Hollow Knight Silksong trades the original's knight protagonist for Hornet, the princess protector of Hallownest. She's been captured and brought to a distant kingdom called Farloom, a strange insect realm ruled by Silk and Song. Her goal is to ascend to the citadel at the top of the world, fighting through mossy grottos, gilded cities, and misted moors along the way. The combat is faster and more acrobatic than the original. Hornet's toolkit is massive, with over 40 legendary bosses and 200 enemies to test it against. You craft tools, traps, and mechanisms that expand your options and your ability to explore. Quests from NPCs unlock new areas and deepen the kingdom's lore. The Switch 2 version runs at a high frame rate and looks stunning in handheld mode. It's $20, same price as the original, and it sold 7 million copies extremely fast. The first big expansion, Sea of Sorrow, is already confirmed and coming free to all players later in 2026. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade launched on Switch 2 in January 2026, and it runs beautifully, consistent 30 frames per second, stunning visuals in both docked and handheld, and the complete package, including the Yuffie DLC chapter that gives you a whole separate adventure in Midgar. The game reimagines the Midgar section of the original FF7 as a full 40-plus hour experience, deepening every character relationship and expanding the story with new content. Cloud is an ex-soldier working as a mercenary hired by Avalanche, an eco-terror group fighting back against the Shinra Corporation, draining the planet of Mako energy. The combat is real-time action with a tactical layer underneath. You switch between party members, charge an ATB gauge, then spend it on abilities, spells, and items in slow motion. The materia system is back, letting you customize your loadout with different elemental magic and passive effects. Every major character plays differently and has their own combat identity.
Bounced right off.
Nice try, dumbass.
Frontal assault's no good.
It's my time to shine.
Hades 2. You play as Melinoe, immortal princess of the underworld and sister to Zagreus from the first game. She's on a mission to rescue her father Hades from Kronos, the Titan of Time, who has him imprisoned. Every run, you fight through biomes filled with unique enemies and boss encounters, picking up boons from the gods of Olympus that power up your attacks, specials, and cast abilities. Death sends you back to the crossroads to brew incantations, upgrade your tools, and try again. New this time are familiars, who help you in battle and gathering. Arcana cards that grant passive buffs across runs, and a wider variety of weapons to unlock and master. The story keeps moving with every run. New conversations, character reveals, and narrative beats that make even failures feel meaningful. On Switch 2, it runs at 120 frames per second in docked mode and 60 frames per second handheld. It's the type of game where you tell yourself one more run, and then it's 3 hours later. Resident Evil Requiem is the first mainline Resident Evil game to launch day one on Nintendo hardware since Resident Evil 4, and Capcom themselves admitted they were skeptical about it running on Switch 2. It runs. The game features two playable protagonists with completely different playstyles. Grace Ashcroft, an FBI analyst who's genuinely scared of what she's dealing with and has to rely on stealth and improvised weapons. And Leon S. Kennedy, a series veteran who dives straight into danger with shotguns and hatchets. You swap between them throughout the story as they uncover mysteries tied to the Umbrella Corporation, with a villain named Victor Gideon pushing things forward. Grace's sections feel like classic survival horror, rationing resources, staying in shadows, using a hermolytic injector on unsuspecting enemies. Leon's feel more like an action game, with the familiar Tetris inventory system and a weapon upgrade shop. Donkey Kong Bananza. DK is working in the mines on Ingot Isle when Voidco, a nefarious organization led by the villainous Void Kong, steals all the Banandium gems and collapses the mine, sending DK tumbling deep underground. There, he meets Pauline, a 13-year-old aspiring singer with stage fright and a mysterious connection to Voidco's plans. Together, they're heading to the planet's core, where legend says a power exists that can grant any wish. The gameplay is built around Nintendo's voxel destruction technology. DK can punch, dig, and tear through nearly any surface in the environment. Walls, ceilings, floors, most of it can be smashed apart, which means every level rewards players who go off the beaten path. It's structured like layers of the earth, each with its own biome, aesthetic, and challenges. DK can also transform into different forms throughout the game, unlocking new traversal options.
Smash enemies, walls, the ground, and most things you can get your hands on with incredible force.
15 games that actually make the Switch 2 worth owning. Drop a comment on which one you're picking up first, and subscribe if you want more content like this. See you next video.